Hey, what's up guys? It's Alejandro here, and I know setup looks different. I moved the desk 90 degrees, and I'm not using the same computer. I'm using a laptop, and also the computer I've been using is empty. So soon there's going to be a PC rebuild, and hopefully, not hopefully, the rebuild will have more up-to-date hardware. The computer that I wanted to build in the first place, alright? Along with the new graphics card, which I only got to use for like about an hour. That sucks, man. But anyway, today we're going to be looking at an old computer. And this is a familiar one. If you've been in school long enough, you might have seen this at least one time. It's a Dell Optiplex 760 DT. You probably don't see this anymore because they've already upgraded the computers, and if they haven't, then goddamn, bro, that sucks. But this is a computer from late 2008, so yeah, that's old. There's no way you're still using that. That thing's already outdated. It's very dusty, and I tried to clean it as much as I could, but I ran out of compressed air, so that sucks, and I have to deal with all the overheating issues that you're gonna see in this video. This is one of those computers that has a reverse motherboard, and what I mean by that is that everything's on the other side of the case. You know how usually the motherboard is like on like that side. It's on this side where the glass panel would be. That's where the motherboard's at. You don't get to see the inside. It would basically be like, you know, this one but flipped. You know, so that sucks. I can't do a sleeper build because the motherboard is way different than any motherboard, and they don't make a motherboard this form factor. It's very rare. Actually, it's so rare it probably doesn't even exist, actually. Also, fun fact about the motherboard, they spelled China incorrectly. The power supply is also a different form factor than what you could ever find. It uses a small power adapter, a smaller 24-pin adapter, which I didn't even know existed. Like, I knew about 24-pin adapters like being pretty big, alright? They were the biggest cable. And they made it so tiny. They made it like a little baby. That's kind of weird, man. But anyway, let's talk about how I got this computer. So it all started when my dad told me about these two computers he found. I only got one of them, but there was two computers. And they both came from a retired school teacher who he does landscaping work for. He gets along real well with a lot of people that he does work for. Should let him have one computer along with a bunch of stuff. It was all in a box with a monitor, speakers, a keyboard and mouse. I didn't use the keyboard and mouse because I already had my own. But hey, new monitor though. It's a 24-inch monitor. This is a 22-inch monitor, so it's still mismatching. But hey, it's better than the 5x4 monitor I was using. That literally was made in 2004. It's an upgrade for me, even if it's still an old monitor. I don't care. I'm happy with what I got. It's 60 hertz. Everything else in that box is pretty much useless to me, so, you know, it's still in the box, you know. I never really touched it. I didn't even want to bother messing with it because all the wires were all tangled up, and, you know, usually I'm the wire untangle master, but not this time. This is pretty difficult, so I just didn't even bother. So, you know, I just wanted to try the computer. That's all I wanted to do. It runs on Windows 7, which, you know, a lot of programs I use are still compatible with Windows 7, which is just great. Windows 7 is still an amazing operating system, even if Microsoft doesn't support it anymore. It's still somewhat usable in 2022. Windows 7 is probably the oldest operating system you can use as a daily driver. Not for long though. I don't know how long though, because like obviously you know, it doesn't have that much time left, so I wouldn't really recommend going to it. I would recommend Windows 10 or 11. We're gonna be looking at the gaming side of this entire video. And I know it's silly considering that there's no graphics card in here. It has an Intel Xeon 3230, 8 gigabytes of DDR2 RAM, and there's no graphics card. It's just integrated graphics from 2008, so, you know, don't have high expectations there. But so even if I wanted to upgrade the graphics card, you know, I can't, because the power supply is only 255 watts, and even for like the lowest end graphics card, you would need at least 300 watt power supply. It's just not a good idea. You know, if you want to put a graphics card in anything, you know, you need at least 300 watts. The problem is that it's actually impossible to find a 300 watt power supply this same form factor, which really pisses me off, because I really wanted to put a graphics card in it and see if we could redeem this computer. We're just gonna be testing older games anyways. We just gotta see how it runs old games. Now I apologize for not using a capture card. I completely forgot that I had one. But anyway, the first game I wanted to try out was Among Us, but unfortunately it wouldn't launch at all, and I kept getting this error for no reason. Shame on you, computer. Luckily, GTA 3 did launch, and it actually runs very good. But this isn't really a huge surprise, because the game isn't that demanding, and the hardware was still good for its time. Even when I switched to 1080p, the performance was still decent. However, if I changed the resolution, the game would crash. Not the fault of the computer, but rather the Steam version being a broken mess. I have my GTA games downgraded for that reason. Now I know CSGO isn't really an old game, but I still wanted to try it anyway, because it's not necessarily the most demanding game, right? Wrong. The game performed terribly and had serious graphical glitches. I mean, look at the background here. And MSI Afterburner wasn't even open for this one. I forgot to have it open, but I don't even think it needs to be open. You can pretty much tell why it's a mess. I wanted to try out Minecraft Java Edition, but unfortunately it wouldn't launch because the iGPU isn't compatible with OpenGL, the API that renders Minecraft. And in case you're wondering about Bedrock Edition, bro, I'm on Windows 7, it's not even compatible. For the last game in this video, I wanted to try out GTA San Andreas. It ran alright, but I did notice some frame rate issues whenever I drove too fast or when too much is going on at once. I even recorded for about 25 minutes because I forgot I was working on a video. I had a little too much fun. So remember when I said that because of the low wattage power supply you couldn't upgrade the graphics card? Well, it turns out Linus Tech Tips did a video on the same computer and he upgraded to a GTX 650 and then a 750 Ti, then a 950 and a 1050 Ti. They consume the same amount of power, but like, you know, he's upgrading to a graphics card pretty much higher than my 730. So I was like, oh, maybe I could put a GT 730 in there and see what happens. And I mean, at first, you know, I thought it was gonna blow up, to be honest. But it didn't blow up. That doesn't mean I could use it. It actually wouldn't boot to Windows anymore. You know, if I try to boot, it would crash. It's like, oh, this has failed to boot because of a recent hardware change. So there goes my replacement computer. So, to answer this stupid question you call the title of this video, can this computer replace my dead computer? No, absolutely not. Despite having a quad-core processor and 8 GB of RAM, it still performs similarly to my old computer, the HP Pavilion Slimline. And, you know, those computers are not really meant for gaming. Rather, you know, schools, businesses. But, you know, even in that regard, it's still outdated. And, you know, these computers have already been upgraded by now. Yeah, don't try to use old hardware as a replacement. So anyway, what do you guys think of the Dell Optiplex 760? Have you ever owned one? Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.